most people think that they have to be self-employed for a minimum of 2 years before they can even qualify to get a home loan. Well, in this video, I'm going to be chatting with Jess Fisher, my preferred lender, and we're going to talk to you about why that might not be the case. And you're going to want to stick around into the end because we talk about some loan options you might not have considered as a self-employed person. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. This channel is all about living in Salida, Colorado and the real estate market here. So be sure and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you're the first to know when new informative videos become available. My name is McCarthy. I'm a realtor that specializes in Salida, Colorado and surrounding areas, and I get calls all the time from people just like you looking to move here. So whether you're thinking of moving here in a few weeks or a few months, reach out to me. All of my contact information is below, and I'd be happy to help you make a smooth transition to the Salida, Colorado area. And Jess Fisher here also works in Salida, Colorado, and he services all of Colorado. So if you're looking to get a loan here, and particularly self-employed loan, chat with him, and we're going to talk to you more about what all of that means. All right, thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you.
Well, first I want to talk about, so if you're watching this video on my channel and you're perhaps interested in Salida, Colorado, just want to point out that this area is actually known for having a lot of remote workers. We're a small rural mountain town. There's some businesses here where you can get a job, but a lot of times people come here with their own work. I know you talk to a lot of those people, and many times those people are self-employed, and so you have that remote work community here. So if you're at all in that position, or you're thinking of taking the plunge and starting your own business and wondering whether or not you're going to be able to find a community here, I can just tell you there is a really big self-employed remote worker community, and it's very welcoming to that.
It is, yeah. Yep.
Totally. And so if you can work at a coffee shop or at a park bench next to the river, so not bad.
Yeah.
With the mountains in the background.
Yeah, and you know, in addition to the community, the city, the county itself is actively supporting remote work.
That's true.
Yeah, there's an initiative for that, to support that and cultivate that and further grow the community.
Absolutely.
As well. So there's a lot of support.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And there's even some places like Co-work where you can purchase a desk and go, and that's a community in and of itself. I know a few people that go there, and I recommend that place to clients because sometimes when you move here, you don't know how you're going to meet people, and that's a really good way.
It is, yeah.
So you kind of feel like you have that group already built in. So with that out of the way, we'll talk a little bit more about, okay, so there's this assumption, I think, for a lot of people, and I mean myself included, I thought that, when you're self-employed, you got to have 2 years work experience before you can even consider buying a house. So that apparently is not the case. So talk to us a little bit more about, what is possible then.
Yeah, so like you said, the conventional wisdom, or what's been around for a long time, is you need 2 years in any sort of work, whether you're switching from self-employed to W-2 or W-2 to self-employed, that you need to have that 2 years. In this, obviously, we're talking about self-employed specifically.
Absolutely.
That's just not true anymore.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you are wanting to get the best rates as a self-employed individual, 2 years, a significant down payment, good credit score, all those things come into play, and that'll get you the best rates.
The best of the best, yeah.
Oftentimes, in my own life, I have moved because of a job change, right?
Yeah.
Or a significant event in life that allows me to move to a bigger house or a better location or whatever it is. Lots of times, like we said, people who are self-employed feel like they have to wait 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the case. Several lenders that I can talk to that have options.
Okay.
And a perfect example is just recently, someone only had 2 months of self-employment, and we were able to get them lending on a home. Now, they had a significant down payment and good credit score, and that always helps, because essentially lenders are just looking at a spectrum of risk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's several options. One's a profit and loss statement.
Okay.
So the profit and loss statement is basically, what are the books saying?
Okay.
What money's coming in, what money's going out. Okay. And the only thing with that is that it needs to be prepared by your tax preparer or a CPA. So, somebody that has knowledge of this stuff is able to put it together. Okay. But that's not really, it's a very small hurdle to be able to buy a home in less than 2 years. The other one that I see as well more often is a bank statement loan.
Okay. What's that?
So that's looking at your history of bank statements for your business.
Okay.
And so it's, when you're doing a profit profit and loss statement, that's essentially your tax preparer looking at what money's coming in and going out.
Yeah.
A bank statement loan is the lender is having an underwriter look at what money's coming in and what money's going out.
Okay.
And then there's calculations that go along with that to qualify the amount of income.
Okay.
Neither one are significantly challenging.
Okay.
Actually, it's pretty nice instead of 1099s and tax returns and all this stuff. And some people have, more complex business arrangements or whatever it is.
Yeah.
A profit and loss statement, tax preparer can fill it out relatively quickly, and then that's what they go off of.
Yeah.
So in some ways, it kind of simplifies the process a little bit. The other misconception is going from W-2 to 1099 while in the same employment. So I've done several loans over the last year when this is happening, because you're a W-2 employee, you're required to be in the office, all those things, and then you switch to a contract employee at 1099, and they allow you to work wherever you want.
Oh,
so people then,
the remote work thing back
want
again.
to come remote work.
Okay.
Some people think that, again, that 2-year rule.
Oh, that they have to have the 1099 for 2 years.
The 1099 for 2 years, because they're no longer W-2. So even though you're a contract employee, you're kind of self-employed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not true. There's some things around that, but if it's in like employment, and that's kind of a broad term, but if it's in like employment, then you don't have to wait the 2 years.
Oh, okay.
There's some other things around it, but that's the big thing. So if you're a W-2 employee and you are able to go 1099 and you can live wherever you want to live and it's like employment, then there's a good chance we can get lending on it.
So if somebody was in that position, so say you're watching this video and you are about to change roles within your company, and then you suddenly get the opportunity to move to a beautiful place like Salida and work remotely. You don't have to drive to the office anymore. How soon can they call you?
They can call me as soon as it happens.
Okay, and then you can assess how soon
I can assess
buy a house.
the time frame, but it's not much that has to be done.
Okay. So
at all.
we're talking probably it could be a few months even.
Yeah, months.
Okay.
It can be done within months to be able to get that accomplished.
And that's actually it's already time to start looking for homes.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and just start the process. Yes, you may have to wait a couple weeks or a month or something like that, but if it's in your head that you're interested in moving to a remote place, it's worth just going and start the process.
Absolutely.
It's possible, so we no longer have to wait the 2 years necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good point, because I know a lot of people think, okay, I need to move there and rent for a year and then I can buy. So if you don't want to have to go through all that, because renting here is also a challenge, and you're often not even going to save that much money, if any money. It might be more expensive depending on your loan. So to just buy that house and pay your mortgage and not pay somebody else's.
Yeah. And then the last thing, which somewhat applies to self-employed, but more the income qualifying, is something called a DSCR loan. Okay. It's more for investment properties. Okay. But if somebody, you're newly self-employed for let me back up. For just any property, you need to have qualifying income, just generally speaking. Okay. They want to know incomes to debts and all that kind of stuff. With the DSCR loan, it's for investment properties. Mm-hmm. So if you have enough money and you've switched from W-2 to 1099, or you're breaking out on your own, you're an entrepreneur, but you have some money you want to invest in real estate, you don't have to wait to have qualifying income. The DSCR loan's a debt service coverage ratio. Okay. And so essentially somebody goes out and appraises the home and then assesses the rent value of the home. Okay. And if the rent value covers the mortgage, then you can get the home. Gotcha. And so there's no income qualifying in that.
It's about the home.
It's about the home,
borrower.
Not about the borrower.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that's another one. It's a little bit of a niche in there, but I have seen that come across as well too. I had somebody from Texas that did just that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In our area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So it's definitely possible. It's definitely doable. So something else to kind of
to kind of keeps it. So this is there are options for you. So the biggest takeaway is you don't have to wait 2 years to have that employment history of your self-employed, and talk to him first about what your options are, and then talk to me we'll talk about your timeline for getting houses, but your timeline's going to be a lot shorter than you think. So well, perfect. Well, thanks for clarifying all of that for us, and if you have any further questions about that, you want some more custom perspective on your situation, please reach out to Jess. All of his information is below, and all of my information is below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.